back to the Desk of Chat. I'm here, as always, your main host, Sam Dow. And today I have with me is hopefully my contemporary co-host, I have on as often as possible, mostly because he lives 3 houses away from me, is Jayse Hall.
Well, hi, thanks, Sam. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. Well, because this will be a very short episode because we both have things that are happening very soon. And so we are just going to skip the news. We aren't going to talk movie or TV today. So for the 2 viewers that watch the first 5 minutes of this and then click off, I'm sorry. But we are just going to talk about E3 for right now because it just ended.
Just barely happened?
Yeah, just barely happened. It's been going on for 2 or 3 days. I don't know if it's still going on or not. I don't really care that much. But I think in the grand scheme of E3s that we've got, I would say this is in the bottom 5. I think this one was not super hot. I think that the best delivery that we got out of all of the presentations was by Nintendo. I think that out of all the ones that I watched, they just had the most consistent quality there in all their stuff. Microsoft did very well. I heard Ubisoft did pretty good. SquareEnix is a nightmare already, and we'll dive into that. But let's start with Microsoft. They gave out the specs for their new Project Scarlet console, and they seem pretty good.
Yeah, it's like, they said pretty good things about it, that it's got 8K capabilities, and it's got they're going to be running it consistently 120 frames per second, and then it's kind of weird, but I guess it's going to be it's not I don't know, specifically a console from what they're saying. They're oh, it's gonna be mobile and a console and a PC, and that's how their video trailer for it was the intro was sorry, I just realized I kind of talking away from the mic, but their intro was saying oh, the future's not gonna be a console or a PC or a mobile, it's gonna be all of these. So it seems pretty interesting. Hopefully it's cool. That's kind of, I guess, kind of like the Switch is something that is very versatile and can, you can have 1 Joy-Con per person, or you could use 2 Joy-Cons yourself, when you can have it on a TV or just itself. I think that's probably what the kind of design they're gonna be similar to a Switch, probably.
They seemed like they talked about with games like Halo that it's gonna be very back to roots. They said that Halo will have split screen local multiplayer, which is good, very good.
Yeah, they said they're gonna have 4-player split screen, no battle royales or loot boxes or anything. They're trying to, they sound like they're trying to listen to what people are saying, unlike EA.
Yeah. Ooh, got some fire going out. But yeah, that's great. It looks like it'll be good. I think I'll probably not get it, just because, we'll start. We'll see if it's the 360 to the One, where it's a transitionary period where they have games on both, and then it becomes exclusive to the next console, which is also how PlayStation was, and also how the Wii was. But there's no doubt this will be over $500. I'm almost certain.
They're gonna be.
I've read articles that consoles are in trouble right now because they're mainly built in Asia, and Asia is having a lot of, particularly China and areas in Japan, they're having a lot of tariff problems with the United States, and so a lot of people think that prices on consoles are going to go up. I think that if they could choose, they would do $500 for the base price. That's every new console, including the 360. All Microsoft's new consoles have been around $500.
Yeah, the Switch was only $300 when it came out, right?
Base, I think it was $350 or maybe $400, but it's $300 now. I'm not certain. Maybe it was base $300.
Yeah, and it was $3 something, and then there's the Pro controller was really expensive.
Yeah,
but
they actually announced the Pro controller too during E3 as well.
For the Switch or for the? I know they had the Xbox. Yeah, they leaked too.
I'm a little bit nervous because I love the Pro controller a lot. It is super crazy useful, but the rubber grips are awful. They just fall apart.
Well, aren't their new ones like detachable? So
If they're
they're
detachable,
like,
then it won't be a problem.
they're
but
like the joysticks,
yeah, like
from what I've seen, is they kind of just
Oh, yeah.
magnet on.
Yeah, they do that on the original
Which-
one too, where you can take everything off,
Mm.
and the grips come off, and you can also add like little bumpers to the back and stuff like that. But it looks like you can actually do like the specifics of that, where like you can change.
Yeah, you can like tighten down the joystick so they pop back more.
Yeah.
Like
I am
faster.
super scared of like the rubber though, because the rubber just comes off, and I've even talked with Microsoft, and they said that the only way to fix it is to get a new one, like to get to apply new rubber grips yourself. Because what happens is like the oil from your hands gets absorbed into the rubber, and it starts to inflate, and it just pops out.
Oh, yeah. So
And
it's
so
like
if
just
they-
warps.
Yeah, if they do the same thing with the next one, I'm not going to buy it, because that is such a pain to take it off. It sucks. You have to cut it out.
Oh man.
Yeah, and it's awful. And the new one, the rubber wraps past like all the way around on the grips, and so that can be awful if it's the same kind of rubber as before. But
Well, I mean, if the whole like grip is rubber, then we're not all inflate at the same rate. And so, because these ones here, like, it's got the top face is still like plastic, so if the rubber inflates more than the rest of it, then it's gonna pop out. So
yeah.
maybe they'll, I don't know, maybe they had engineers like actually look at it and improve the design. That would be, man, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. And the rubber isn't even that huge of a problem, because online you can buy plastic ones, and so you never have to worry about it if you just buy plastic grips. But the rubber grips, it's an amazing choice, but the type of rubber that they chose is so stupidly bad. Like, everything else about the controller is amazing, and it's sponsored as having a 40-hour battery life with rechargeable batteries, and that would be amazing, but it has to be good. The rubber has to be good, and it can't cost $250, because I'm not going to buy a controller that costs half as much as a console.
Yeah, that's that would be really unfortunate if they're just like, oh, check this out, you can't afford it.
Yeah, that'd be very bad. Speaking of Microsoft and E3 though, they have actually sales going on right now. Where a bunch of their games are discounted, and I've actually bought a couple, because they're up to like 40% off and 60% off, and I'm like, that's a steal.
And they also, just kind of reminded me, for E3 they announced they're gonna have their Xbox like Game Pass extend to their their Windows Store.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I saw that. That's a really good idea. It does completely remove Xbox exclusive. I mean, that's happened since Forza, where the games that were originally only on Xbox are now on Microsoft. But this seals the deal for it.
Which I think, well, I mean, they're both owned by Microsoft though, like
Yeah.
Windows and Xbox, so it's understandable, and I think that's probably a good move on like their part though. That
Yeah, definitely.
It
Because you're
removes-
incentivizing people.
I think
to
that's
buy
good to remove
laptops.
good to remove the Microsoft exclusivity.
Yeah.
And that's something, I mean, we've known that they're trying to do that since like Infinite came out, or the first trailer for Infinite came out at E3 last year, and they said it would be for Windows 10 and Xbox. So like, I guess I heard something a while ago too that I think is probably pretty accurate, is that somebody was talking about how they're like, well, it seems that like Sony, they have like their PSVR, and they've got a lot of stuff with their controllers with like the light bar is like they have like a camera and a light bar, and they've like got gyroscopes in the controllers that are like really fancy, and they're kind of moving towards like focusing on cool peripherals, and then like they're like Microsoft's kind of focusing on removing the gap between PC and console, which we also see with their Project Scarlet?
Yep.
Yeah. And how they're like, oh, it's Nintendo. It's just Nintendo about things.
I don't know which game it was. It was a new game that was coming around so the Microsoft and Sony exclusives, they're staying exclusives. Like, Microsoft, I've read articles where Microsoft is saying we're willing to bridge that gap and have no more exclusives, and that I read that Sony was unwilling to do that, which is a bummer, but that's just for the exclusives. that I've been reading, because I was watching E3 as well, and that some of the third-party games, some of SquareEnix's, are going to be cross-platform. Same with some other sister parties to Microsoft and Sony, which is finally, right? And hopefully that extends to a point where consoles are capable. 'Cause this is still possible, like with Microsoft and Xbox, like a Windows computer and an Xbox can play together. But I'd like for it to get to the point where Sony, Xbox, Nintendo, and PC can all play the same game, while none of them having to make sacrifices. Where if a Switch were to try and do anything with an Xbox, then the quality of the Xbox would have to drop insanely low because the Switch doesn't have super high video quality. It's because it's so small, obviously. Which
really
is
pretty limited there.
Yeah, which is fine. Obviously, that's what it's for. But I mean, there are rumors going around that they're gonna make like two diverging off consoles. That they have like the Switch where you can take down and sit down and hook up to your TV, and that they're also going to make like one that's bigger and bulkier that only goes on your TV, and then they're also going to make one that's a lot lighter that is only portable.
So like how they had the DS and the Wii, pretty much. They're going back.
Exactly.
Like when the Switch came out, they're like, oh, let's combine the DS and the Wii, and now they're like splitting them off again.
Yeah.
But
That is exactly right. Yeah. Microsoft, they did a great job. They announced a lot of expansions, discounts and bundles. For example, Sea of Thieves, they announced like the Founders Bundle, I think, is coming back. Which, have you ever played Sea of Thieves before?
I have actually not played Sea of Thieves, no.
It is
But,
super fun. You have to have a lot of friends with you to play it, but it is very, very fun. I played it when I had the Xbox Game Pass, and it's crazy fun, especially when you have like multiple people with you. It gets a little repetitive and a little slow at times, but that's like the best time to start playing Pirates of the Caribbean music as you're going around, and there's like whole strategies and communities that play, and it's amazing. What else? Oh yeah, Forza, Horizon 4. They announced their new expansion.
the Lego
Lego. I didn't get Treasure Island, the first expansion, because I love Horizon 4. It's another amazingly super fun game I own, and I play it not as often as I would like to, but I still play it a lot. In that game, it's great. Obviously, it's very updated versus Horizon 3. But Treasure Island expansion, I didn't even bother buying it because it sucked, basically. It got some interesting new cars, but other than that, it was pretty bad. And then we have this new expansion, which turns into everything Lego. And it's almost like, did people want this? Like, we got it, but did we want it?
Well, and they also have like a Hot Wheels something, and
they had Hot Wheels back on Horizon 3, but it still kept like the same graphics engine. It just added like a whole new island where it had a bunch of Hot Wheel tracks and a couple of Hot Wheel cars on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess they're following that trend of having like 2 or 3 serious expansions and then one really goofy expansion. However, Hot Wheels was the last expansion. It looks like they're doing it for their second one. I don't know how many expansions that they'll do. Maybe they'll only do 3 like last year. Or maybe they'll go above and beyond. But maybe they'll actually go above because you're not getting crazy graphics from Lego. So, and you don't have to put a whole lot of detail and a whole lot of time into that.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't think that there's... I know the Forza games are like super detailed and they're like great for that, but like I don't think there's much detail as you can in modeling what a crashed Lego car looks like. So, like there's
Yeah.
not... I don't think there's gonna be much like dynamic... much things I'll have to like plan for, you know.
There's a bunch of other stuff that I would have preferred over Lego. I mean, a returning DLC would have been really cool. They had some really fun DLCs way back when. They had something called Blizzard Mountain, which was like a big frost giant ice mountain that had some really cool cars in it. And something like that would be amazing. The idea of Treasure Island was kind of cool, of a big constantly storming tropical island, but the execution was not very good. So we've got that.
I think, what if they did like Rallycross, or rally racing, kind of a DLC expansion? Because I know like let's see, we played. I was over at your house here once, and we played. It was one of the Forza games, like Forza 6 or 7, like not a Horizon, not one of the Horizons, but
Yeah.
And I saw they had like the Impreza WRX, and I was like, oh, they have like off-road like rallycross maps. And you're like, no, they have rally cars, but not rally tracks, not rally racing, which I think that'd be like, they've got a really great physics engine, and I know WRC like has a game that's their flagship game, but I've heard it's pretty terrible, and like Dirt is fun, but it's really arcadey, not very simulation. So like, I bet if Forza was just like rallycross,
Yeah.
it would be, I'm sure it'd take off.
Yeah,
very well.
the Horizon games do a really good job of like mixing the two, where they have like street races, track races, they have off-road, and then they have like complete like wilderness races where you're actually like driving through the forest without like any track or any dirt road on it. But yeah, because Blizzard was kind of focused on off-road racing as well, and that's one of the favorites out of all the Forza expansions. Blizzard Mountain is very, very popular, and if they did it again, and it takes place in England, so they could do some very interesting stuff in like northern England, or even in just like boonies England, they could do whatever they wanted. But that's just where that is. Maybe they'll do it next time if they decide to listen to what the people want. We got the gameplay trailer for the new Star Wars game.
Oh yeah, that. I didn't watch the whole trailer, but I did see like clips of it, and it looked really good. I was really excited when that first like trailer, the initial release trailer like came out, and I was like, dude, that looks like pretty great.
It reminds me of Star Wars Unleashed. I get like
Force
serious
Unleashed?
vibes from that. Force Unleashed.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing. I saw like, I think IGN, they were like kind of made a meme about their trailer, or I think it was pretty sure it was just some gameplay, where they showed a stormtrooper like shoot at the main character. I don't know his name, but and he like used the force to stop the bullet or like the blaster shot in midair, and then he pulled the stormtrooper into his own blaster shot, and
yeah,
I was like,
that
dude,
was amazing.
like, yeah, that's total Force Unleashed like vibe right there.
The game looks great. It's single player. It's very Uncharted, Tomb Raider kind of game where it's just campaign and that's it. The problem I had are the graphics. I think that the graphics. There's a hole in my shirt. I think that the
That's where
graphics.
you stick your head through.
Yeah. I don't think the graphics are very good. I'm gonna be completely honest. I just don't think that they look super good for something like that. If you saw how Chewbacca looked in that, he looked worse in this new game than he did back in 2015 with Battlefront 1. And if you've seen the Wookiees from Battlefront 2 and like Chewbacca, amazing. They look great. But he just looks so bad in this new game. And they could have very easily, it's made by the same company, like, hey, can we borrow that model and use it for Chewbacca? Problem solved. Instead, he just looks like a really tall guy with just grown out hair. Like, you see him kneeling, and instead of having like a bunch of hair like sitting down and like dragging her along and having like really thick legs, he has like really skinny legs, and the hair just follows all the way down. It doesn't have any gravity or physics to it. That's a fat bummer there, and I'm afraid that the game's gonna be too short for any interest. But I'm sure it'll be fine. That's what I say about everything. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I crashed a car into a river.
No,
Drove a car into a river.
There you go. Okay. I think that's about all we got from Microsoft. Okay?
Yeah, I think
Alright.
so. It's,
Well, let's go into SquareEnix, shall we?
yeah.
They had their
Cue bass boosted Avengers theme. It's like super distorted.
Yeah, wait, is this the Avengers theme? That was gosh, they
Yeah, it's
I
the only
don't-
thing I've like heard about theirs is the Avengers and the like oof.
I don't even really want to talk about it that much. They had their conference yesterday, and the only reason why anybody was watching the Square Enix conference, Avengers. Because we got a big Avengers game announced, and everybody's excited, because like, oh, it's going to be hopefully a big open world, really cool game like Spider-Man style, which is what would have been amazing. But instead, what we got is about 2 hours of waiting as about 6 new Final Fantasy games were announced, either for remaster or for who even cares, remasters or spin-offs, and half of them got delayed, which is what SquareEnix does. They delay all their games. And moving on, and then we got a bunch of random spin-offs. Half of them were like the same kind of like anime, like Fire Emblem style games. And that was horrible to watch. They have a first-person shooter coming out that's made by one of their sister companies that has CS:GO graphics on it. Like literally that low. It's terrible. And then one of the games I was excited for that they announced, I think it was called Outlanders, where it was like a Mad Max style game, and it looks like the company that was making it put a lot of work into it, and that they've been working on for a long time, because it looks pretty, and the way that they described it made it sound like it's going to be really fun, and that's a game I would actually consider getting. Then they ended it with Avengers. Now, they sponsored it as being the best game ever, basically. They're like, this story is so original. What the story is that a huge disaster occurs on the Avengers Watch, which leads to the ban of the Avengers and turmoil within the team. Is there a movie that does that?
Like the second Captain America? You know? Yeah.
Civil War
yeah.
and Winter Soldier, I think they both do that. They're like, yeah, this story is so original. Like, I think I've seen this in a movie before.
Yeah. You know, it's like 2 movies pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And also, but like, have you seen like some of the like the pictures of like their models too? Like they just look so potato.
They got the Avengers stunt doubles.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, oh man. Like there's this meme that IGN posted on Instagram like yesterday. It's like, can we have some Avengers, Mom? We have Avengers at home, and the Avengers at home picture. Oh man, like. I mean, it's pretty clear they're trying to write off the, I guess, hype of, like, Endgame, and, like, because, you know, I think it's the whole 10 years of the MCU, like, story that's all been interconnected of a ton of movies, and it's really great, and then, you know, ended recently, and everyone, like, I thought everyone really loved it. I really loved it. From what I don't think I've heard many people complain about it, or say anything much bad about it, but then they go and butcher it like this.
Yeah.
Like, I would understand, I guess, if they didn't make them look like the MCU characters.
That they maybe want to do their own thing.
Like, if they wanted to do their own thing, but, like, then at least they could try and, like, I guess make them more look like than their comic book versions, because that's what I hear most people complain about, is how the MCU characters don't match the comic books as much as people think they should. But, like, most of, like, the suits and stuff in here match like the MCU pretty closely. Like you can tell they tried to like go for an MCU like vibe, but they just, I don't know. I don't see why they didn't just like outright.
Besides Captain America, who looks like he's wearing
Captain America
officer armor.
Yeah, like the Iron Man, like at least his like suit looks pretty good. His face, he looks. I can't like pin my tongue on it. He looks like Louder Crowder. You know who that guy is? The podcast. He's the meme where he's sitting back and he's like, oh, it's the change my mind meme, and it says something controversial and change my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. That's what their Iron Man looks like. He looks.
They show like a clip, and he has like crazy long hair in it. He's like a full beard. I'm like, I don't think that's Tony Stark. Who is that?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure their target audience mostly knows the Avengers through their MCU characters, not their comic book characters. So I'm like. Bruh.
What
like,
have they done? Why?
Yeah.
And it doesn't even look open game. It looks like it's like levels with like your characters, and you gotta choose your characters, and it's co-op, I guess. But again, who cares?
Yeah, I saw clips of the trailer in their conference, and I didn't read any further into it really than that because of how bad they looked. But from what I like did hear and read, it's gonna be. It seems like it's going to be similar to, I'm trying to remember what the game was called. It came out, like, for heckin' ever ago. But it was this Marvel, it was this Marvel game. I really can't remember what it's called. No, I remember I had it for, like, no, it was, like, a console game where you, like, but you designed a team, and you had, like, 4 people, and it was just, it wasn't, like, specifically Avengers, but yeah, it was it was just levels, and then you could like change out the characters. And
where it was kind of like an overhead view, like
yeah,
characters.
and you had like, and then if you had like all Fantastic Four characters, then you got like a damage bonus or something. Or if you had all characters from the Avengers, then you got some other bonus. But like, that game, I mean, it was all right, but I think they could do a lot better. So if it's very similar to that, I think it'll be very disappointing.
What I wanted, 100 million% wanted, was like Spider-Man, except like with a breed of Red Dead Online or GTA 5, of a bunch of players where there's a campaign off to the side, maybe that goes around like the missions, and then a separate online, the Red Dead 2 style, but where I mainly wanted an online that was a huge, humongous map with constant in-game server-wide events of where you could either pick villains or heroes and whatever, and you could fight each other all you wanted, but of big in-game events like the invasion of New York. You've got all the aliens coming out of the wormhole, and the villains are, if you choose a villain, they help defend the evil.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Battlefront, like Galactic Assault style thing.
Yes, just like that. Except maybe like a little bit more fast paced. And it's constant widespreading around. And you have like the Shatari invasion or whatever, and you've got the villains trying to help defend, maybe keep the portal open or something like that. And then you have the heroes trying to stop it, trying to kill the Shatari, getting XP and points, being able to customize and level up whatever hero you wanted, and having it all based off the cinematic universe. Maybe the campaign follows through all of the cinematic movies. How cool would that be? I would buy and play that game 100 times and spend 100 hours in it.
Just 100?
No, a million. At least 1,000,000 hours.
Yeah, like, I spent 100 hours. I spent 100 hours in, like, I don't know, like, Just Cause 3, about that, and, like,
Almost
that was a SquareEnix game. I was like, that's, yeah. See, I'm kind of, I don't know, I guess I have a bad habit. If I have, like, a ton of games on Steam, but, like, most of them have under 100 hours, and then the ones that have over 100 hours are, like, way over 100 hours.
Yeah.
And,
I hear that.
yeah. Rainbow Six Siege, I don't know how many I have on there anymore, but it's too many, probably. Don't want to divulge that information.
My combined Battlefront is over like 800 hours.
Yeah, that's like... But yeah, if they just had a game, they just followed the MCU, like, chronologically, like, pretty much like the people that, you know, before Endgame came out, and they had, like, marathons where they'd watch all the Marvel movies that they could have chronologically, and, like, I'm sure they would do so well if they just thought a little bit.
Yeah, and if it's made by SquareEnix, so maybe their just budget isn't big enough to do something as big, like as just complex as that. But why would Marvel give it to SquareEnix in the first place? Why not give it to literally any other company? I would be more confident if it was developed by DICE or EA. Honest, I don't even care if there's loot boxes. If it's got a budget big enough,
if it's a good enough game, if it
Yeah.
looks good and has content that's quality, even if you have to pay a little extra for some of the quality content.
yeah. If DICE or Rockstar made it, I would buy that game in a snap. I would have pre-ordered it already. And they could have been so creative with it that like you unlock new characters and new character traits by playing the campaign, forcing people to play what you work on. Basically, if they wanna expand out, make a world the size of double that of Spider-Man, or make it as big as the Red Dead 2 map. That map is humongous.
Dude, No Man's Sky size map.
Yes.
It's just the universe.
Multiple planets. The entire universe
Yeah, dude,
is what I
you
want.
gotta be going to Titan to fight Thanos.
See, no, that could be like a part of the campaign, or it could be a special mission where you and 5 others, or you and 6 others, or you and however many others, maybe not like 10 others, but more others, you team up as in like a special in-game mission that sends you to Titan, and you can fight Thanos. And it has the styling of not overhead, and not like the Square Enix game, but like that of the Red Dead and maybe the Battlefront and games like that, where you can rotate your character, like look around, And
Yeah, I don't think
and
they do very well
it's
first person.
Yeah, it's positions like where the camera,
Kind of
your
over the
character's
shoulder
right here.
view.
Yeah, maybe like that, with the camera right there. And gosh, just thinking about this game makes me want to play it already, but it's not happening.
But it's not existing.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not
well,
existing.
hopefully it does. Like, we'll see what Square Enix does. We don't have a whole ton yet, but like, it doesn't. What we have isn't promising.
Exactly, 100%. It makes me so mad that they would do that.
Do you know which panel was Cyberpunk 2077 in? Was that Square Enix's?
That was in the
Was that-
Microsoft panel, I think.
Oh yeah, because those memes always have the Keanu Reeves memes have the Xbox like watermark on them.
Oh yeah. Should we talk about
But,
Cyberpunk while we're here?
Well, I don't know much.
I don't know anything.
I don't know anything about
it.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I know it has like. Well, I saw like they had a trailer a while ago. I watched like a bunch of it. There was like 2 hours or something of gameplay. I think last E3. But I just know it has Keanu Reeves in it, and like that's the big meme right now, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like, take a look at this, and it's Keanu. I mean, I think Keanu Reeves.
You're breathtaking.
I think he's a great guy. Like, and like, you watched any of the John Wick movies? Like, because that's. I mean, I watched The Matrix, and he was like, it was years ago, which he was like pretty good, and that's why I've heard people saying like, oh, he's kind of, he doesn't show his emotion very well. He's very robotic as an actor, which I'm like, bro, for like John Wick, that made him great, and like, I'm sure for the Cyberpunk, like that'll make him great because he's playing a dude that literally has a robot arm. They're like, he's like Johnny Silverhand, I think is his name. So like, I don't know. Yeah, I just remembered that though while we were talking about Square Enix. I was like, just remember that Cyberpunk 2077, which I know it looks really promising and like it is gonna be very open world and like very, just looks like great. But like, yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it because from what it sounds like, there's gonna be a little too much nudity for my taste.
Ooh, nasty.
Yeah,
I'm not about that.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, not the reason I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but like that's something I heard had a lot of nudity, and I'm like, bro, I wanna play a game and watch a porno. So
Yeah.
yeah, but anyways, yeah, Keanu Reeves, great guy. Thought I'd bring that up.
Breathtaking, man.
Breathtaking. But,
Okay, well, that's the rant about Square Enix, I guess. Maybe
the Square Enix, yeah.
one day we will get our promised amazing video game, but that day is not today. It may not be in our lifetime, but it will happen someday. Okay, let's move on to.
So we got Ubisoft's.
What did Ubisoft get? I didn't see anything.
I know they Ghost Recon Breakpoint is like.
Oh yeah.
Apparently
I
doing
watched
very well.
gameplay on that.
I know my brother was like playing the like they had some beta or alpha, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago or so.
Yeah.
And he was playing that and he said it was pretty good. And like I read reviews of people that like played it that had the opportunity to play it at E3 saying that it was like very good. I didn't play Wildlands at all, but I played like Ghost Recon. Let's see, I'm trying to remember what, like
I played the first.
Yeah,
Ghost
like I
Recon,
played Ghost Recon.
which
like,
is
forever
it
ago.
Wildlands is the first one?
Huh? No, Wildlands was like the last one that came out.
Oh yeah.
The first one is Advanced Warfighter, I think is what it's called, or something like that.
I played Wildlands then. I thought I played the first one, but
No.
Wildlands was good. I enjoyed Wildlands. It's because it's a very
It's very open world.
it's
isn't
very
it?
Far
like,
Cry styled.
Oh, I see.
But it's got a lot of fun because like you and a friend can go around like an entire humongous map and like shoot down helicopters and stuff like that. And maybe that makes it more like what's the game where it's like a single player game where you're like parachuting all over the place and there's like a bunch of big explosions.
Oh, Just Cause.
Just Cause.
Yeah, Just Cause 3 and like just all the Just Cause games. Oh, speaking of which, did anything about Just Cause 4 get talked about at E3? I remember. Heck, when was it? I mean, maybe Square Enix's was like so, because that would have been a Square Enix thing, because it was so bad.
Square Enix made.
Or did Just Cause 4 already come out? Heck, I don't know. I didn't follow that
it
closely.
may have already
It had already come
I
out.
didn't follow it.
Yeah, I didn't follow that closely, but I remember hearing things about it, like when it first was like announced, and they were like, "Dude, it's gonna have like crazy, like they're gonna be in tornadoes and stuff." And I was
thought
like,
it looked
"What?"
too much like Just Cause 3.
Yeah,
It looked like it
which-
shared the game engine and like the same map, and so I don't really care that much.
Yeah, but yeah, I didn't follow it too closely, but I knew it sounded kind of cool, but like, I don't know. Just kind of remembered that. But yeah, so Ghost Recon, I guess, is very promising on Ubisoft's part. And then they had, I don't know if you ever played it, but last year, this first season, or the first season of, or first operation of Rainbow Six Siege was called Chimera, and it had this special event that was like modeled kind of like, it seemed like it was going to be like Call of Duty Zombies, but it was actually, I played it a few times. It was called Outbreak, and it was very unique. It wasn't like Zombies, I don't think, as much, because you didn't stay in one spot. You like went through a mission and you had like an objective. But like, I guess they're gonna make a new, I think it's standalone, because people didn't like how Outbreak wasn't fitting the theme of Siege, because the Siege was supposed to be more realistic, but in the past last year and this year, they're kind of going away from that and breaking a lot of their immersion. But it's fine, because they're trying to keep it alive, which I like, because Siege is a great game. Too many hours on that. But so yeah, that's something, is that they're, I guess, pretty much remaking Outbreak, but making it better and making it let's see, I'm trying to see if I can find what it's called real quick, but it's gonna be pretty much like their own standalone Zombies game.
Well, that sounds fun.
And then also, oh yeah, I heard something, I don't know if it was at E3, but I just going through IGN's Instagram here real quick, but there's gonna be like a Destroy All Humans remake.
I talked about that on the last podcast.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't
that
at
was like the
E3
first
then.
thing that came up.
Okay.
That looks really good.
Yeah,
For that
I
little
remember,
cinematic trailer we got, came out of the time.
yeah, because I mean, they didn't like remake it, but like I know they put Destroy All Humans, or you can get it on the PS4, but nothing's different about it. It's just a port, I guess, from the PS2 version. But yeah, that game was really great, and so hopefully the remake does really well. But yeah, so that's Ubisoft's E3, I think. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know too much. I know Rainbow Six Zombies is coming better, and what's it called? Breakpoint, or Point Break. No. Yeah, Breakpoint. Oh, looks really promising. What about Nintendo? I didn't really watch Nintendo's Direct or know too much about it.
Nintendo's was this morning.
Oh wait, real quick. The other thing about Ubisoft was Helen. So they have their next Watch Dogs game is called Watch Dogs Legion, and so it's very open world in the fact that even you can play as like any NPC in I guess, I mean, I'm not sure how it's gonna work, if it's like you can play it like in multiplayer, but there's like videos and I guess of gameplay where it's Watch Dogs and you're like beating people up, but they're playing as like this really old lady named Helen, and
I didn't see it to the extreme.
Yeah, and they're kind of like, and she's doing like all the parkour and stuff, hopping over things that she's got her handbag, and so yeah, that's pretty great, and I guess it looks really promising. Again, I don't really hear much besides that about the next Watch Dogs, but so now we can move on. Nintendo? Question mark?
Theirs was this morning. Tied for the best with Microsoft. They did an amazing job. I didn't see all of it. I saw a lot of it. I caught in about like 20 minutes in. And a lot of the games that they showed off were sequels, not a whole lot of original games. But there's Luigi's Mansion 3, and I got to see the gameplay for that, and that looks really fun. I think before I popped in, I think that they showed off the new Super Mario Maker. I don't really care a whole lot about that. They showed a new trailer for Pokemon, which they didn't show anything new because the Nintendo Direct for that game happened like a week ago, so they didn't want to show anything too new too early. At the end of the conference, they teased the next Legend of Zelda game, or maybe it's an expansion to Breath of the Wild, or maybe it's Breath of the Wild 2. I don't really care that much. They showed off 3, I think maybe 2, spin-off Legend of Zelda games, which they do that every year. They show off a bunch of Legend of Zelda stuff. what else did they show off? They showed off gameplay for the new Animal Crossing game, which that actually, big shocker for me, they're delaying it about half a year. And so I haven't played any of the Animal Crossing games, so I don't really care very much.
Yeah, I played the first one, which was on like the GameCube, and I mean, it was really fun. It was really basic, but like you could put a lot of hours in. It was really like unique, and which, if I had like a Switch or whatever they're gonna release, what's it called, like New Horizons or something on like that, the new one. If they, I would probably buy it if I had something to play it on. But I don't think I'll get it. But sad day that it's delayed, I guess.
Yeah.
Because Animal Crossing is great.
Yeah. The big thing, I think, they tried to make it seem like the next Legend of Zelda was the big thing, but clearly the big thing was about Super Smash Bros. They showed off what the next DLC character is, coming fall of this year. It's Banjo and Kazooie. It is amazing. I haven't played a single Banjo and Kazooie game. I mean, I personally would have preferred Mr. Crash Bandicoot. I think that would have been a better choice. I just had to look and see what his name was. I just had to pull it out of my drawer and look.
Good job.
Yeah, true Crash Bandicoot fan. But that's crazy because that's what people wanted, and they got it right. Because before we got Joker, and everybody's like, "Who's this again? Is this another Fire Emblem trash or something like that?"
Dude, when are they gonna put John Wick in Smash?
I'm waiting for Master Chief and Steve. Okay, where is Steve?
Steve and Mike, dude, they got the villager.
Yeah, I bet I'll place down $20 right now that if they do the same thing that they did when Smash 4 came out, where for their final DLC character, they open a poll where you can put in what character you want. I bet right now, apples to oranges, or what's the other term for that?
I don't know.
I bet that Master Chief is gonna win. I see him all over the place for people wanting him in Smash Bros. Because he's not too violent, because Halo's not that violent. So that already gets rid of chances of people getting Doom Guy in. He's not too crazy cartoony, so he's gonna beat out Cuphead, I bet, and any other really cartoony characters I don't really care. Any other cartoony characters.
Yeah, Master Chief. Well, he's gonna be really similar to Solid Snake too, right? So he's.
Yeah, they can make it
so
work.
It's clear they've already they have someone like him already. So
of a more serious HD looking character that's not like a cartoon, and he would be crazy fun to play as.
Yeah, but yeah. When are they gonna add? When are they gonna have my man Master Chief? But yeah, I don't know though. If that's Steve, I bet. I'm sure a lot of people, if they had a poll, I'm sure a lot of people would vote for Minecraft Steve. And
last year, or not last year, when the last game came out, no one took it serious enough. So the people who wanted Bayonetta got Bayonetta because everybody wanted Shrek. And so that was hilarious. That was amazing. And now people care enough that they're going to vote for who they want. And it's going to be really tight. We didn't get to see... I don't remember if we got to see the poll results last time. But I don't know how Bayonetta made it in, I guess. I don't really care. Bayonetta's stupid. It's that happened, and it's still happening. And if we ever get that choice for picking your own DLC character, it'll be at least a year down the line, at least. I think their number that they go with is 5 DLC characters, honestly, and we've gotten 2. If they decide to count Piranha Plant, that we've got 2. I don't know if they'll count Piranha Plant. He may have just been a pre-order bonus kind of deal. So we do have Piranha Plant. I was watching a fan-made trailer that I thought was real. It was so good I thought it was real. That it was Toad was going to be the next character. It was a crazy funny video of where Peach pulls out Toad. And let me actually grab my phone real quick and I'll show it to you. And it's
Your phone's still dead though?
Yeah, it's still dead. I gotta look it up. But it shows because Peach she has a move where she can pull Toad out and he'll counter moves and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny because he does that to like Samus's like fully charged plasma ball, and he's like watching it, and it's like in slow motion, and then he like moves Peach in front of it. it's
High
quite,
quality.
Yeah, it's quite high quality. It was a mod. It's actually an actual thing of someone who got the model and like put animations on it, and it looks like it could be real. And it's golden, and I love it.
I still think they should add John Wick to Smash.
They could
But it's
do it.
probably a little too violent for them. You didn't. Yeah, you said you didn't watch any John Wick movies yet, have you?
Not
Oh.
yet. I need to.
Yeah. Because then in the third one especially, there's some things where it's like, dang, that's pretty metal, but dang, you don't you don't know how to respond.
It's pretty.
But I actually do think though that like John Wick could make like a great Mortal Kombat character. I know a while ago when the Shaggy meme was popular, there was like the video where people put Shaggy in Mortal Kombat, and it was pretty funny looking. But like, I mean, in MK11, if they had John Wick, like, I think that would.
We've
great.
got the list for all the DLC characters that are coming to Mortal Kombat.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, unfortunately, John Wick is not on that list. Terminator is.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but John Wick is not. And this video wants to load. They're bringing back a bunch of interesting characters. Like they're bringing them back like Nightwolf and other characters. And they're bringing back some characters from movies and TV shows. I think one of the characters that they're bringing back is from like a comic series, and he looks like a breed of Venom without like the teeth, like Spider-Man and Deadpool, and he looks really nice.
Oh man, yeah. So this video is pretty great.
It is high quality. The first time I saw it, everybody thought it was real because it would be amazing if it was real.
Yeah, that actually looks really realistic. Well, or like it looks like it was actually made by Nintendo. So
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it was, and they're just pranking you.
No, maybe.
But
We got 2 DLC characters.
let's see. There's something else I was gonna ask you about, but I don't remember now. Yeah, I guess that's probably it.
Alright, that's... You basically covered anything.
Oh,
Or everything.
I guess
What else you
I was
got?
just gonna say earlier, but was Bethesda? They didn't have their own panel, did they? No, they.
I don't think they did. And if they did, they didn't show anything.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
a few select companies decided to stay away. Bethesda stayed away. Other companies like EA and DICE and whatever, they didn't present like their own stuff. They just went under Xbox. Same with like SquareEnix, their little sister companies just went under them. So maybe a Bethesda game was shown off during all the conferences.
Yeah, like I know stuff about Doom Eternal was at least like shown off. I don't know if it was
we
under.
are doing Eternal stuff.
So, yeah, I don't really know much about that.
Sony chose not to go.
Yeah, lame.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I'll play
Cowards.
PS4.
It's a good thing they didn't, because I think that what they showed probably would have been overshadowed by both Xbox and Nintendo.
Not by SquareEnix.
No, not by SquareEnix.
That's why you'd probably.
Pretty easy to
so
beat them out.
people would probably fear like, oh man, Endgame like came out pretty recently, and they're gonna have an Avengers game, but no.
They're gonna have the best game of the year right here. It's gonna outsell everything. Everybody's gonna be playing it.
No.
No.
Yeah, it's
I'm
sad day.
getting angry
but,
just thinking about it. Okay, well, we don't have much else to talk about.
It was a pretty good chat
Yeah,
on the desk
little
or table.
Yeah,
whatever
the
it is.
desk or table. It's the desk of chat. I think.
The desk of chat. The chat of Tesk.
Yeah, the chat of Tesk. This is basically like a little bonus that we decided to throw together. I think that due to how long it's taking to actually edit and publish, most of the publishing is taking hours from off of, because I use iMovie because it's free, but it takes hours to get it off of iMovie, and then it takes more hours to upload it onto YouTube. And so I think, because I originally wanted to do 2 to 3 a week, but I think I'm just going to probably do 1 a week. I will try very hard to have this podcast out this weekend. Can't make any promises.
I mean, that's like
That's
the week started yesterday.
I got a couple of days, and maybe I'll be lucky enough to have it out by Wednesday. But we'll just wait. Wednesday's tomorrow. if you're watching, today is
Tuesday,
June
the 11th.
the 11th on a Tuesday, and I'll hopefully have it out by the 12th, which is a Wednesday, and if not, hopefully it'll be out by the following Thursday, or maybe the following Friday.
Or maybe the following Tuesday.
Or maybe the following Tuesday. I just decided to not upload the first podcast at all, which is okay because it was straight garbage. But I need to have Harrison back on because I owe him a new podcast. Yeah, that's all we got. Thank you for tuning in to the 2 people and the 10 Instagram followers that I have on the account. Thank you for tuning in to the desk and or the table of chat.
And if you are hearing this, thanks for listening all the way through.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for not just clicking away at the
second
for 5
podcast.
minutes.
I got like halfway through and I was like, you know what? People are gonna watch it all the way through, and I just stopped editing out stuff, including the end, which the end is like not edited at all. So it's just me talking to Dylan for like 2 minutes. Like, should we just close it now? So
when you're editing your podcast and you want to click away.
I don't think I've watched 1 or 2 podcasts all the way through, and that's it. And I imagine that, yeah, again, if you watched all the way this far, thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much. I do this I have these conversations because it's fun, but also because I like people to listen to them. Secondly, the most important is to have fun. Right?
To have fun and to talk.
Yeah,
I was
something.
gonna say to be educated,
Yeah.
but we're talking about like
Yeah.
E3, so.
I mean, it's some news, so you can stay up on the news. And so, yeah, thank you for tuning in. This has been the Desk of Chat. No, I'm gonna redo that. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Desk of Chat. Please enjoy the rest of your day or your night, or if you're watching this while you're sleeping, have a good night. Sleep well. Maybe check up in the morning. Say hi. Say hey. You have a good breakfast. Enjoy your breakfast. If you're watching this in the morning, you woke up really early and you're just maybe
See,
this is set
if
for
you happen to be
YouTube.
dead and this is actually your funeral, then
Oh.
you know, have a good rest of your eternity.
Have a good rest of your eternity.
Doom Eternal will find you.
Sorry that you couldn't be conscious while this is going on, or alive.
Yeah, please tell me you're gonna like edit most of that out. That's what
No, it's all
okay.
going in.
Yeah, it's all going
even
in.
this part is going in.
Okay. Say something.
All right, thank
But,
you.
well,
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.